It's a day that we will all never forget.
Just after 6 o'clock, a Comair flight 5191 crashed.
August 27, 2006, while departing Lexington's Bluegrass Airport, something went terribly wrong. The plane was headed down the wrong runway, one too short for it to become safely airborne.
I saw over the hillside a flash of light.
49 passengers and crew were killed. The days,
that we can demonstrate our love and concern for them.
the weeks, and the months to follow
One day we can have the answers we need.
would be filled with questions about what happened and why.
There would be no moment where we could point to one thing and say, aha, that is what caused this accident.
Now, 10 years later, remembering Flight 5191.
And now, 10 years later, hundreds of people gathering to remember this tragedy on this anniversary, honoring the 49 people killed on August 27th, 2006.
You're looking live at the folks gathered at this hour at the UK Arboretum. There are more than 300 family members who have come, and they are seated. Other people as well from the community are there. And Sam, really a somber moment this morning for Lexington and really people across the country touched by this.
You know, Barb, it was a crushing day in so many ways. And as we sat here 10 years ago in this very studio, anchoring the coverage with our colleagues of this tragedy, the news only got worse as we learned that there would be only one survivor on that day, that 49 people had lost their lives. This 10-year mark since the crash of Comair Flight 5191 is being recognized this morning with song and prayers and tributes. And we will bring you the entire event live. It will last about an hour.
Now here's what to expect. UK President Dr. Eli Capilouto is going to start the service here shortly. There will also be an invocation. We'll hear then from Mayor Gray and Congressman Andy Barr.
Deb Hirschman will speak. She was the lead investigator of the NTSB at the time of the crash. And we'll also hear from the families of some of the victims. All 49 names will be read out loud, and there will be a release of birds from the sculpture, which is just above that tent area that you're looking at now live. Sean Moody is at the Arboretum with us, where the birds are used to remember all those 49 victims. Sean, certainly a hot day for the crowd out there. Good to know that they at least have a tent, but also the public has been invited as well.
Good morning, Sam and Barb. That service gets underway in just a few minutes, and you mentioned all the people who are coming out today, the public, as well as the community. That's one thing the families all said they wanted, was to see people from the community. They've been coming down this path towards this fence for a little bit now. We expect about 300 family members to be there in that tent, plus whichever members of the community come. And this isn't too far from the Flight 5191 memorial sculpture here at the UK Arboretum. This rendering of 49 birds climbing toward the sky was unveiled back at the 5-year anniversary in 2011. There are 49 birds climbing toward the sky. Around the base of that sculpture, there is the name of each of the 49 people who were killed in the crash. Inside each of those birds is a canister containing some personal items from each of the families. Again, the memorial service starts any minute now. And Sam, as you mentioned, after that service, they will have a bird release from near the 5191 memorial sculpture. Sam, Barb, back to you.
Turned off. Thank you so much.
And our host, Jerry Vandermeer, who is going to be starting things today.
I served as co-chair of the 191 Commission. I am pleased to welcome each of you as we remember the lives of the 49 loved ones lost 10 years ago today. When we began planning for today's event, we reflected on the past 10 years and decided we wanted this day to convey a sense of community, remembrance, and peace. Community for the unwavering support of so many at the time of the accident. Remembrance for our lost loved ones. Peace and healing for the families and our community. We are fortunate to have several dignitaries with us today. Members of U.S. Congress, state representatives and senators, representatives from the offices of the Governor and Senator McConnell, 3 Lexington mayors, former and current, law enforcement agencies representing the Sheriff's Department, City, Police, and Fire, Bluegrass Airport, and the University of Kentucky. We thank everyone here today for joining us on this beautiful morning. 5 years ago today, the Flight 5191 Memorial was unveiled, a fitting memorial to appropriately remember and honor the 49 lives lost on that tragic morning. I was honored to work with the late Dr. Ray Garman as co-chair of the Flight 5191 Commission, and I would be remiss not to recognize his impassioned leadership and contributions to the Flight 5191 Memorial. Thank you. He is truly missed. Two other special members of the Flight 5191 Commission are sadly not with us today. They too were very involved members of the Commission in creating the beautiful sculpture. The late Lois Turner Dees, who lost her husband, Larry Turner, in the crash. She played a key role in her support and advocacy of the families. After the loss of her sister Kay Craig Morris, the late Ann Kay also became a valued member of the Flight 5191 Commission and helped with the memorial. Thank you to these special individuals for their many contributions. The University of Kentucky graciously accepted the Commission's request to locate this magnificent memorial at the UK Arboretum. We could think of no better place for this tribute to be, and it was the preferred location by many family members. At this time, I am pleased to introduce the President of the University of Kentucky, Dr. Eli Capilouto.
Good morning. I was not of you 10 years ago when hearts were wounded and darkness came. I was barely here a month 5 years ago when this memorial was unveiled, glittering in the sun, reflecting light taking flight against an unseen wind, rekindling in hearts extinguished flames. Today, I am humbled to welcome you to this place of memory, serenity, and beauty on behalf of the University of Kentucky, who with our city is a proud custodian of these grounds made sacred 5 years ago. We're reminded in Psalms that sorrow endures for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. 10 years ago, our community was awakened by a terrible tragedy. In the quiet of mourning, this family, in an instant, was torn asunder, forever changed, and left with a permanent void that can't be filled. Those 49 names are our parents and grandparents, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, kids, and grandkids. They coached our children's soccer and baseball teams. They were our colleagues at work, parishioners in our faith groups. They were our friends, our neighbors. And in the days that followed, you were left with grief as you grappled to understand why and how something like this could happen. The next day wasn't the same for any of you, for this community. It changed our city. It wasn't easy to see then, but in the terrible ripple of change, we learned to find acceptance. Not closure, but acceptance, and the will to move with, not move on. Sherry Mandel, a mother who lost her children in a terrorist attack in Israel, reminds us that there is no closure, only disclosure. That victims' families don't move on, they move with the memories, with the pain, with the love, and with the will to survive and bear witness. This community is moving with. Included in the 49 was one of UK's own, Larry Turner, who was really known across Kentucky in his capacity of the director of our extension services. A testament to his notoriety and affection and commitment to others, over 1,000 people attended this very humble man's memorial. his son Clay in eulogizing his father and responding to the overwhelming outpouring of community support said, "I hope that God can give me strength so that someday my own kids can say the same things about me." Larry was a man of faith, and while faith and strength from our Creator, however defined, is powerful, today is evidence of the strength we provide to one another. I have noticed families who suffer loss are often the first to help others. And whether our grief stems from a horrific terror in a city in Orlando, or natural disasters in Louisiana or Italy, or from an August morning in central Kentucky, our individual and collective strength comes from one another. No matter the source, it can turn our grief into goodness. And the memories you carry offer a sense of immortality for the friends and family you lost. As we let the grace of memory shine through us, we honor them, and in doing so, make our lives and the lives of so many others better. We move together with a shared strength that Clay Turner asked for all of us, that we yearn for, that we give to each other to make this a remarkable community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Capilouto. The University of Kentucky, and specifically the President's Office, has provided exceptional support for today's event, and we are truly grateful, sir. I now wish to welcome Father Norman Fisher, pastor of St. Peter Clavier Catholic Church and chaplain of Lexington Catholic High School, for the invocation. Please rise.
It's an honor to be here and to share in this part of a special honor and love that we continue to lift one another up with. And I'm a visual person, so I just want you to imagine, I'm going to have Pastor Weiss indulge me. If he could stand beside me just for a moment, and if your left hand can go out like a wing, just your left arm, and if you can just sort of soar like this. Here we go. Here we go. So I just want you to imagine that each of you, and consider yourselves as wings on this journey. And each other has lifted, well, we had to do it together, right? All right.
Not coordinated.
There we go. We're thankful that each and every day you have lifted one another up. Remembering Flight 5191, you have been a source of strength and beauty and power and the grace to live the dignity and legacy of those who we still remember so beautifully. They are the ones that continue to share beautiful opportunities for us to remember them, whether it's missionary work in Ghana or continued loving efforts and companies and visions. So I just want to, again, thank you. Just keep this in your mind. My arm's getting sore, and I'm sure Pastor Luce's is too. At this time, I invite you to bow your heads and open your hearts. Most merciful and loving God, through our most painful experience of life, of fog and human weakness over 10 years ago, you came to our aid and received these precious 49, our beloved ones. They were indeed visionaries, leaders who ran companies, led academic institutions, shared in the powerful role as grandparents, parents, sons and daughters, spouses, and even newly married. Altogether, they were our family, and they are yours. We cannot know the plans or purpose that veiled this tragic occurrence, but mysteriously, like a phoenix rising, our hearts slowly began being uplifted by the courageous witness of these fine individuals. We would remember them in so many ways. We would have the consolation for having them in our lives, albeit shorter than we could have ever imagined. Yet, their families and friends took up from where they left off, became more because their lives meant and still mean so much more to us. We're given strength from St. Paul's writing to the Romans in chapter 8. Tells us, that shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or ever sword come upon us. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. On this day, Lord, help us to be more than conquerors and keep our hearts full of grace and your peace that surpasses all wisdom and understanding. Help us to keep our heads up and our hearts strong. For we believe we are still connected to our beloved 49 on this pathway, this flight to you. May your mercy cover us all in this time of gathering. Let us be sharers of that mercy to all. Eternal rest grant unto the 49, O Lord, and let thy perpetual light shine upon them. And may the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Let all the wings out there say, Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Father Norman, for making our hearts soar with yours. At this time, I'm pleased to welcome to the podium the Honorable James P. Gray, Mayor of Lexington.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As we mark this 10th anniversary, I want to speak first to the families. It is so inspiring to see so many of you here. Your presence reminds us that the human spirit triumphs in times of adversity. It does not fail. It does not fail. Your brave spirit is an inspiration for our city today as we gather to commemorate the memories of those we loved as family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, those we worked with, worshiped with, those we greeted at ball games. So many of you were here 5 years ago as we marked the 5th anniversary. Anniversaries matter. It is so simple. An anniversary is the turning of a year. Nothing more, nothing less. Still, the anniversaries that matter most have little to do with the calendar. We are attached to the joys and sorrows of those days and not to the dates. And so it is today on this 10th anniversary. We are here in sorrow to begin a new decade of living with our loss. We are here to express our deep compassion, and we are here to find hope for tomorrow. We are not turning a page on the past. We are writing the next story for a new decade of how we shall remember to live. 5 years ago, today, I quoted from a letter from Deborah Hersman, who represented the National Transportation Safety Board at the scene. And thank you, Deborah, for being with us here again today. Deborah's letter talked about the strong and vibrant community spirit of Lexington. And she wrote, "Old wisdom says that time heals all wounds, but I'm not sure that is the case in such a public and profound tragedy. In Lexington, the strength to move forward does not come from time so much as it comes from one another. Yes, healing does take place over time, but even more so, it occurs within the steadfast presence of those who care for us. And that is Lexington. In this place, there is an enduring community spirit of generosity and caring. This tragedy still allows us to reflect on what a privilege it is to live in a city where we care for one another, a city where we respond to needs by reaching out with help and compassion. Perhaps one way to define that spirit is by remembering our first responders from that day a decade ago. In fact, that may be one of the strongest memories for families. Unforgettable displays of great courage, great bravery. So many small kindnesses, a generous and comforting presence. Our first responders earned national praise for their work together then, and today it is most appropriate that we honor and give thanks for their sacrifice, for their call to duty, and their dedication. Over this decade and throughout our history, our enduring community spirit has been our guide, our true north. It has been with us every step of the way through this tragedy and more. We know we can rely on it. God bless all of you, our citizens, and our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gray, for those kind words of inspiration. I'm now pleased to introduce Congressman Andy Barr, representing Kentucky's 6th Congressional District, for a few remarks.
Good morning. It's an honor to be with you today to help honor the lives of those lost on Comair Flight 5191, one of the worst tragedies in the history of our city. Every one of us in Lexington remembers where we were exactly 10 years ago when we learned the news that a plane had crashed near Bluegrass Airport. Like many Lexingtonians, I was in church when our priest asked for prayers from the pulpit. I knew immediately that I would have known someone on the plane, or at least someone who was directly impacted by the tragedy. And I think everyone here probably felt the same way. Everyone in Lexington had the same reaction, minds racing to friends and family and whether they were on that flight. Despite being the second largest city in our Commonwealth, this is still a very tight-knit community. And in Lexington, we often say we live in the biggest small town in America. Well, I didn't know many of the passengers well. I did know some of you before the tragedy, and I have come to know many of you in the years since. Cutchin Powell was a friend from the University of Virginia, and he was engaged to Marcy Thomason. Marcy was in Lexington to plan their wedding and was headed back to Washington, D.C. I know Marcy's story well because of my friendship with Cutchin and because of how many people she touched. She was a beautiful, funny, smart, and for a woman and for a young woman to be taken from us on the verge of being a bride, it breaks our hearts to this day. Every one of the passengers had a story. They had a family. They had a life. And their anguish is our anguish as their friends and as their neighbors. But we also continue to celebrate their lives, which continue to enrich us and our community. For example, Pat Smith, whose remarkable life was taken from us too soon on Flight 5191, was an active volunteer and leader in Habitat for Humanity. I got a chance to catch up with his son Brian earlier today, who I played soccer with when I was a young boy. And since his death, the Pat Smith Foundation has built or renovated 10 homes for low-income families in Lexington. The Marcy Thomason Student Athlete Memorial Scholarship gives financial aid to an outstanding senior student athlete at Henry Clay High School, Marcy's alma mater. The Campbell House and the American Red Cross recently held a blood drive in remembrance of all the victims. And there is an annual volleyball tournament to honor the life of Fenton Dawson of Lexington and to benefit local high school volleyball programs. These are just a few of the good deeds in our community inspired by this accident. No doubt there were countless acts of kindness and generosity on that day, many of which we will never know about. We will also never forget the heroism of the first responders who spent weeks in difficult conditions to recover and honor the victims and their families. We are grateful for their work. But let us also remember and never forget the ways that this accident brought us together as a city and reminded us that life is precious. The fact that the lives of these passengers move us so much, even 10 years after this accident, affirms not only the impact that their lives had on our community when they were with us, but it also tells a lot about Lexington. This is a great community, and we are all incredibly proud to call Lexington home. God bless our city. God bless the families of 5191. And may God always bless these beautiful souls who gave us all so much and whose memories will always continue to be a blessing to us forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Barr, for being here today for the families. Following the crash, Debbie Hersman served as point person for the National Transportation Safety Board, directing the investigation. An important and much-needed image of competence and strength. She made it known she was seeking the truth, the facts of the cause of the crash. The families have the utmost respect for the way she handled the events, with grace and strength. We are honored to have former chair of the NTSB and current president and CEO of the National Safety Council, Debbie Hersman, here with us today. Thank you, Debbie.
Yokoso to the Kono family. Thank you for so many of you joining us. I know that you have had the most difficult and the longest journey to get here today. 10 years ago today, before the sun came up, a regional jet with 50 people on board attempted to take off from runway 26. Each of you can recall where you were when you heard about the crash. Within a year, the NTSB issued almost a dozen recommendations: improvements to air traffic control, changes to pre-takeoff checklists, and improvements to runway and taxiway markings. All of these changes have made aviation safer in the United States than it was 10 years ago. Yesterday, as my flight approached Bluegrass Airport, I looked out the window and tried to locate the site of the crash. But much has changed in 10 years. Runway 26 doesn't exist anymore. The configuration of the runways at the airport is changed. Earlier this week, Jennifer Combs was talking to me about the ceremony, and she mentioned that trees had been planted near the memorial, the sculpture in the Arboretum. And she said we would be near the sculpture, but we wouldn't necessarily have a view of those 49 birds in flight. I guess it's a little bit like faith. We simply accept that it's there. Helen Keller said, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, but just felt in the heart." And so it goes for each of us. We can no longer see the people that those silver birds represent, but we can feel the love of family and the kindness of strangers all around us. I would ask you to just take this moment, take 30 seconds, and greet the family and the strangers that are all around you. Please share with them your love.
Where's the Japanese family?
They're over there, the Kono. Thanks. And you let me know if you need help. You need an assistant. Just like today, in Lexington's darkest hours, the best and most beautiful traits of the community were felt in the heart. When 50 people met tragedy unexpectedly that quiet Sunday morning, hundreds of people stopped what they were doing to rescue, to assist, to investigate, to clean up, and thousands of people started to support, to pray, and yes, to begin walking that very long road of grief. So many lives were touched by the loss of 49 precious souls. It seemed the entire community was in pain, and this simple realization strengthened my faith in humanity. As human beings living together on this earth, we make mistakes, we disagree, and sometimes we even hurt each other. But in the end, we do care for one another. And when tragedy strikes one of us, or a few of us, many of us respond to the pain. Lexington reminded me, and I think the entire Commonwealth, that we are all part of a larger family. And 10 years later, many things have changed. Babies have been born. Runways have been built. Trees have been planted. The community has new leaders, and we've experienced sadness anew with loss of people we love, like Lois and Ray and others. But you have also found joy in carrying out others' passions, playing in volleyball tournaments, funding scholarships for young equestrians, and building homes for Habitat. But one thing has not changed. We're all gathered together after 10 years because a profound connection binds us together. Shared grief, shared comfort, and a shared commitment to keep the best and most beautiful things in our heart. In closing, I would ask just one more thing from each of you. In the last 10 years since the Comair crash, we've only seen one aviation accident as deadly as what happened at Bluegrass. But every day, we lose 100 people on our roadways, the equivalent of 2 Comairs going down every day. These deaths are completely preventable. I would ask each of you, when you leave today, to make a commitment to safety. Don't drive impaired. Put your phones down. You each hold people's lives in your hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katie, Viola, and Austin Vutucci for this wonderful music. Very inspirational. And thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much for your remarks. It means so much to the families that you took the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. Since the loss of his father, Matthew Snoddy has demonstrated great leadership in keeping us focused on pulling together this year's memorial ceremony. He had to balance the difficult loss of his father while orchestrating the many details of today's event. Always articulate and sensitive to the family's needs, he did an extraordinary job of leading the committee that planned this special day. For 10 years, he has been involved with every aspect of honoring those who were lost. I am pleased to introduce Matthew Snoddy.
Apparently one of the details I forgot about was his stair step to come up here. I'd like to start off today by recognizing the efforts of a man without whom today's ceremony would not have happened. In fact, without this man, our memorial sculpture itself would not be here. I asked Jerry Vandermeer to be our host today because he's been a part of our Flight 5191 family from day one. August 27, 2006, as manager of the Campbell House here in Lexington, he opened the doors to all families, the NTSB, first responders, Delta care providers, and anyone else who needed a place to stay, a place to meet, or just a place to find quiet in the din of the days and weeks after the crash. Jerry followed up his efforts by becoming a co-chairman of the Flight 5191 Memorial Commission and leading the community and family effort to create the tribute to those lost. This tribute manifested itself as the internationally known sculpture we have here today. Through the last 10 years, Jerry has been quiet and humble about his efforts and accomplishments, but his connections through Lexington and the effective leadership that he has have been invaluable to our Flight 5191 family today. Thank you, Jerry, for everything you've done for us. I'd also like to mention just briefly, thanks to my wife, Wendy, who's here with us today. We endured a lot together in this past 10 years. And I've never seen a more strong, honest, thoughtful, or loving person. Thank you, Wendy. We invited anyone from Delta Airlines or Comair to come here today to join us. Thank you for coming and for being a part of our community. The Delta Care team that assisted families in the days after the crash was exemplary. My thoughts today are with the families of Captain Jeffrey Clay and Flight Attendant Kelly Heyer. There's one person who is on Flight 5191 whose name does not appear on the memorial. First Officer James Polhinky, the sole survivor of the crash. To Mr. Polhinky and his family, my thoughts are with you today also. As sad of a day as this is, we must remember that there are good things that can come from such a tragedy. Countless memorial funds and scholarships have been created. My own family has raised and given away more than $16,000 in scholarships over the past 8 years to students from our hometown in Boyd County. Memorial volleyball tournaments, 5Ks, golf scrambles, and other events commemorate the lives lost. Families have learned to celebrate the lives of those who were on the plane and use them as guidance on how to live their own lives. And beyond that, in the grander scheme, the families and friends have created their own special bonds with each other, and particularly with community members. The city of Lexington truly is a small town when tragedy strikes. I've asked before, but I'll ask again. What kind of a person gets on a 6 a.m. flight? Lexington has flights going to Atlanta all throughout the day. Any of them are as good as the next. They'll all get you to Atlanta. Who gets on a 6 a.m. flight? The answer reveals just how much of an impact the loss of the passengers of 5191 was. What kind of a person takes a 6 a.m. flight? The answer is lawyers, business people, accountants, entrepreneurs, horse industry people, students, athletes, managers, salespeople, even retirees who haven't quite figured out how to be in retirement yet. These are people who were not only up and at the airport at an early time, but smart people, funny people, driven people, ambitious people, people who make things happen. The flight was a cross-section of the best and brightest, not just of Lexington, not just of Kentucky, but of the entire world. It's for that reason that the loss of Flight 5191 is so tremendous. I personally have had a lifelong passion for aviation. Most boys go through a dinosaur phase or a fireman phase or police officer phase. I did all those, but then I hit the astronaut phase when I was in 3rd grade, and I never really moved past it. So when I was young, my dad asked me, "How are you going to become an astronaut?" He knew the answer, luck and hard work and studying, but he was testing me. He wanted to see if I knew what it took to become an astronaut. So I looked it up. Looked to me like it was a pretty easy way to become an astronaut if you became a pilot. The best pilots were in the military. The quickest way if I was going to fly in the military was to go to the Air Force Academy out in Colorado. So I told him I was going to go to the Air Force Academy, become a pilot, become so good that I'll be a test pilot. They don't have the credentials to be an astronaut, and I'd be able to just go off and do that. Pretty easy. He was impressed enough that by the time my senior year in high school rolled around, I'd already met the requirements and applied to the academy. He offered me a gift. He got me flying lessons. I earned my private pilot's license when I was 17 before I graduated high school. He and I flew several times before I left for Colorado. I remember one particular flight I did after receiving my license. I needed some takeoffs and landings at night in my logbook. I've got a 16-year-old son now, and riding with him in a car is an exercise in stress management. So I can't imagine how my father handled flying at night in a tiny plane over the mountains of West Virginia with his 17-year-old son at the controls. But he was relaxed. He trusted me. It was a day that sticks with me, and I've thought about it many times. It was a day that my dad, larger than life, smart as a whip, scary, intimidating, powerful, put his life in my hands. He sat back and he enjoyed some time alone, just taking in the gorgeous scenery as we flew. Shortly after the 5191 accident, I was reminded of a poem I had memorized while I was a cadet out at the academy. It was written by a man named John Gillespie McGee Jr., who was a fighter pilot a long time ago, who had a love affair with aviation, as most fighter pilots do. But his poem has become a staple of the aviation community. It was famously quoted by President Ronald Reagan during his address to the nation after the Challenger space shuttle accident in 1986. The poem is titled High Flight. Oh, I've slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the wind-swept heights with easy grace, where never lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. So many people have been there for the families as we have navigated these past 10 years. We thank you for your support. We are glad you're here with us today as we remember our loved ones. We are pleased to have WVLK's Jack Patty with us this morning to read the names of the Flight 5191 passengers and crew. On that tragic morning, Brian Jared, Pete Maupin, and John Sally were among the first responders on the scene. We are grateful for their efforts and have asked them to represent all emergency responders' efforts that morning by ringing a bell in remembrance after each name is read.
Rebecca Adams. Lyle Orville Anderson. Christina Anderson. Arnold P. Andrews. Anne Marie Bailey. Bobby Benton. Clark Benton. Carol R. Bizak. George Brunacini. Brian C. Bird. Jeffrey Clay. Diane Combs. Homer Combs. Fenton Dawson. Thomas Connell Fahey. Mike Finley. Clarence Wayne Fortney II. W. Bartley Frederick. Holly Gilbert. Eric John Harris. Kelly James Heyer. Jonathan Hooker. Scarlett Parsley Hooker. Priscilla Johnson. Naoko Kono. Tetsuya Kono. Charles M. Likens. Dan Mallory. Steve McElravy. Linda McKee. Robert I. Mew. K. Craig Morris. Leslie W. Morris II. Cecile Moscow. Judy Ann Rains. Michael Noel Ryan. Mary Jane Silas. Patrick Hogan Smith. Timothy K. Snoddy. Marcy Reynolds Thomason. Gregory Allen Threet. Randy D. Tolles. Larry W. Turner. Victoria Washington. Jeff Williams. Paige Michelle Winters. Brian Woodward. Joanne Wright. Betty Butler Young.
so weary when troubles come and my heart burden be. Then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I'm filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. Raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. And you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Raise me up to more than I can be.
Thank you so much, Katie and Austin. Immediately following the tragedy, Southland Christian Church opened its doors, but more importantly, their hearts. Over the years, Pastor John Weiss and his congregation have been a strong support for the families, and we are grateful for all that they have done. I'm pleased to welcome Pastor Weiss from Southland Christian Church.
So 7 years ago, my wife Allison called me when I was on my way home from work, and she said, I want to prepare you for something. And you know that's not good news. And she said, your son. And anytime she started a sentence like that, I laughed because I thought, he's your son too, not just my son, but if you're a parent, you understand that. And she said, your son has spray painted a big orange X on the driveway outside. And by big, I mean really big. Well, I thought, how big could it be? And so I pulled in my neighborhood. My son's only 5, and I'm a good 100 yards from our driveway, and I can already see it. It's the size of an X that you would paint if you were trying to help a helicopter make an emergency landing. And so I walk inside, and immediately Silas hides behind his mom. Same feelings we have when we're embarrassed or when we're guilty or ashamed. And so I pulled him from behind his mom, and I gave him a big hug. And he started to cry, and I said, buddy, it's okay. And then he reached in his pocket, and he pulled out a big wad of $1 bills. He'd been saving up money to buy a paintball gun. He wanted to try to pay me for the damage he'd done. And I said, again, it's okay, buddy. I got this. So I get in my car, and I drive to Lowe's, and they hand me a big bundle of steel wool that should have been my first sign, and this acid, and they say it'll just take a little bit of time. And I go home, and for the next 3 hours, I'm scrubbing the driveway in 20-degree weather, and eventually I get the big orange X off. A couple weeks later, my brother Judd, Silas's uncle, comes to visit us, and he's from Colorado, and he walks in the house, and the first thing my son did was say, Uncle Judd, you have to come with me. And they go out to the driveway, and they're standing there, and I'm nearby, and Silas said, that's where it was. That's where I painted the big orange X. And my brother looked at him very excitedly and kind of got down at his level, and he said, well, did you have to clean it up? Did you scrub it? And Silas said, oh no, I'm not strong enough to make that stain go away. You've experienced something that very few people in life have ever experienced or ever will experience. And on the heels of that, you understand that we have a Father in heaven who specializes in turning stains into stories. And if you'll let me for just a few minutes, I want to try to capture again that story with these poster boards.
In the quietness, there are sometimes very uplifting message. Thank you so much, Pastor Ruiz. As members of Flight 5191 Commission, Sue Bird, mother of Brian Bird and Anita Threet, wife of Greg Threet, have been constant advocates for the families. Sue has served on the Flight 5191 Commission and on the Planning Committee for today's event. Anita has provided continual support to the Commission and for the families over the past 10 years. I'm pleased to welcome Sue and Anita to the podium for a few remarks.
Good morning. My name is Sue Bird. 10 years ago today, 49 people lost their lives on Flight 5191. My husband Tony and I lost our son Brian and his fiancée Judy. They were on their way to be married on August the 29th on the beautiful island of St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Our loss has been a journey that no one would want to embark on, but many people have traveled it with us. When the Memorial Commission was formed, I became a part of it. Our goal was to build a lasting tribute to the ones we lost. The memorial was dedicated 5 years ago. 3 people who served on the commission and spent hours making the memorial become a reality have passed away, and I personally would like to remember them today. Lois Turner lost her husband, Larry Turner. She was a local educator here in Lexington. As we strive for the same goals, Lois, in her soft-spoken voice, was always so reassuring and positive. She told me many times she believed that this tragic accident happened early on Sunday morning because God had people in churches ready to pray for us, and this always gave me great comfort. Ann Kay lost her sister and brother-in-law, Kay and Leslie Morris. Ann ran Kay's Poodles for many years. We became friends, giving each other comfort during trying days. She was a strong and caring woman, and I felt blessed to have known her, and I know that this memorial was one of her greatest accomplishments. Lastly, we lost our chairman of the commission, Dr. Ray Garman. Dr. Garman was a local physician and a retired brigadier general. He was a leader. I sometimes wonder if this memorial would have become a reality if not for his guidance. He was a strong motivator. I felt like he could move mountains. In all meetings, and there were many, he always would ask the families, "What do you want? Just tell me and we'll make it happen," and he did. I've always heard that good things can evolve out of bad things happening. The love, caring, and friendship that I felt for these people helped to prove that, and we have great sympathy for their families. When Matt Snoddy, Jerry Vandermeer, and myself met in 2015 to discuss the possibility of a 10-year memorial service, we realized the impact of losing our General Ray Garman. As the news of a possible 10-year memorial started to become a reality, the families, our friends, and many local organizations such as hospice started to plan, prepare, and once again make this event happen. It always amazes me how much support we have, and there's always so much love involved. There are far too many agencies and people for me to name them today. We know who you are and what you've done for us. I know I speak for all the families of Flight 5191. We will always be grateful to you. There is one very special person that's here today that I do want to recognize, Mr. Jerry Vandermeer, co-chair of the former commission. He is one of the most caring, compassionate, and honorable individuals I have ever known. Having lost Dr. Garman, Mr. Vandermeer stepped up to make sure everything was done with the same pride and energy as always. Thank you for all you've done for us. Through the great efforts of many people and agencies, this special memorial dedicated in memory to our loved ones will be maintained and admired as a place of remembrance for many years to come. It is a lasting tribute to all who lost their lives on August 27 of 2006. In closing, Lexington, Kentucky, thank you for taking such good care of us. As we leave here today, there are 4 numbers which will always bind our hearts, our minds, and our souls together: 5191. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to be with us today, and may you have safe journeys home.
Ten years ago, my family lost our rock. Greg was the one we looked to for answers, help, and guidance in all things. He had a hand in everything. I didn't realize or appreciate until after he died how much the guy really did know. He could fix anything around the house and had an answer for everything. He loved to debate politics. He would have loved this election. He was the life of the party and the man who took charge. If he didn't have the answer, he would work tirelessly and passionately to find it. He was an amazing son and brother. Greg's greatest accomplishment was his role of dad. He loved his children more than anything in the world, and they came first. He put them before everything else. Fatherhood was his greatest accomplishment. I remember those first days thinking that there was no way we would get through this. No way my kids would grow up to be normal, and absolutely no way that we would be happy again. I was so afraid for them. At Greg's funeral, one person gave me some advice that I now realize was one of the most important words of wisdom that I received in those first few days. She told me that the most important thing I could do for my children was to make them feel safe. If I could make them feel safe, then we would be okay. This community of victims' families, first responders, and all those touched by the crash were exposed to a moment of pain and total vulnerability. We were all afraid, but fear can be conquered. And wow, did this community work together to wage a war on our fear. Every gesture and act mattered to us. I wish I could thank and acknowledge every individual that helped us to cope in those days and years afterward, but I would be here for hours. Just know that every gesture, prayer, and act of generosity made a difference. I've been asked hundreds of times over the past 10 years how we did it. How did we overcome our grief and move forward? It's simple. We did not do it alone. It was a group effort. We were blessed by a strong family and many wonderful people that came into our lives over the past 10 years. I truly believe that Greg had a hand in that, and he is somehow managing to orchestrate and take care of us from the other side. People were put into our lives. Sometimes the timing seemed miraculous. When I was in my moments of deepest despair, there always seemed to be a helping hand or someone to guide me on the right path. My son Colin just started his sophomore year at Ohio University. He's a true testament to the impact that a good father can have on his child, even if it was only for 10 years. He carries on that same strong will and curiosity of the world that Greg had. He will fulfill the goals and dreams that Greg was not able to. Brenna is in her sophomore year of high school. She has her father's eyes, and staring into them is like catching a glimpse of Greg looking back at us. She carries on his independent, confident spirit, and she is going to continue to soar. Our baby, Sheridan Eliza, our blessing from God, has been the shining light of our lives for the past 10 years. As she turns a year older each summer, that is one more year that fades the pain and grief of August 27th. She fills our hearts with joy and is a daily reminder of the love that Greg had for us. She lights up the room with her humor and tenacious personality. Even though she was only 7 weeks old when her father died, we continue to fill her with memories of him through stories and pictures. My life changed on that day, 10 years ago, but I can say to you that it made me a better person. I am stronger, more patient, humble, and more generous. I was forced to do things on my own, and that brought me confidence. I have become less judgmental and much more tolerant. I'm not perfect, but I'm a better person than I was. Many of us have been inspired after the crash to pay it forward. I've made it my mission to do random acts of kindness. The joy I feel when I know that in some small way I was able to help someone achieve a goal or ease their burdens helps to dull the painful memories. When I feel inspired to reach out to someone, I actually feel Greg and all the loved ones that we lost, driving me towards those in need. Greg may have only been on this earth for 35 years, but the footprint he left will last much longer than that. His death and the death of the 48 others changed us. It changed our families, and it changed this community. We were lucky enough to see the absolute best in humanity after the tragedy, and all of you are why me and my family are able to smile today. My children are strong, happy, and most importantly, they are safe. Safe because they were embraced by a community of people who stepped up when they didn't have to. Safe because so many people did the right thing and went out of their comfort zone to make sure we would be okay. I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Anita. Retired Lexington Fire Department Chaplain Stuart Dawson was on the scene of the tragedy, offering counsel and support to the families and first responders in 2006. And we are very pleased to have him with us today to offer the benediction.
Before we pray, I would just like to say a word on behalf of those first responders. I've done this work for 30 years, retired now, and in this job you develop some emotional calluses, if you will. You have to survive. But you never become immune to what we see in you and your loved ones, and it affects us. We don't do the job for a thank you, for recognition. But when folks recognize that we too are human, that we carry away some of your pain, we carry away the faces of your loved ones and your faces, And when people acknowledge that we are human and they say thank you, it means so much. And you folks have done that from the very beginning. In the midst of your grief and sorrow and pain, you've always thought of us. You've reached out to us. You've said thank you. You've given acknowledgments of your thanks. And for all that, and on behalf of the emergency service personnel, I would like to say to you, thank you for remembering us. In your healing, you've helped us heal some as well. So thank you. Now, if all the family members would stand. Another visual Father Norman liked so well. Okay, everybody look around. Now the rest of us stand. Let's symbolically put our arms around these folks. And let's pray together. Father, we come to you and we thank you for this day. We first off thank you for the lives of those that were lost, those precious memories, the contributions that they made, the love they represented, and all that they were. We thank you and we praise you for those lives. Now, Lord, 10 years ago, these that we have our arms around thought there couldn't be another day. The life couldn't go on. But Lord, you were there. This community was there. Others were there to put their arms around them and to help them. And Lord, as has been evidenced today, we've seen them climb mountains. We've seen them stand on mountains. We've seen them take that horrible day and the grief and the pain and the sorrow that they experienced, and they've turned it into victories. They've turned it into so many blessings and so many acts of kindness and so much love. We can truly celebrate in the midst of all the emotion. Lord, we thank you. And I ask, Lord, as we go not on, but as we go with what's happened, you continue to reach out, continue to support, continue to encourage, continue to let this family feel your love. As they continue on their journey, help them to continue to climb, to continue to give, continue to be. And we'll continue to thank you. We pray all these things in your powerful name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Dawson. As we bring the memorial to a close, I want to thank all of those who helped with this important day, and there were many. In particular, and I'm going to go a little bit off script and mention some names, Hospice of the Bluegrass, Susan Ware, and Kim Lipsky worked tirelessly over the last 12 months in planning this. The Arboretum, all the work that went into preparing the grounds for today, Molly Davis and her staff. Bluegrass Airport, both the administrative offices of Eric Frankel and Scott Lanter in public safety for the airport. Scott has been tremendous in our planning. Kentucky American Water, Charlie Boland. The University of Kentucky event planning offices, Amanda Adams and Lex Tran. The music was wonderful. Our thanks to you and all of our speakers. You will find a list of those who helped make this day possible in your program. As a reminder, buses will be available to circle to take you back shortly after this is over. We will conclude the special service at the memorial now and invite you to join us in the Remembrance Garden for a symbolic bird release ceremony that will take place in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you for coming. It has been an honor and a privilege to be part of this journey. Please come back often to visit the memorial and the Arboretum.
Barbara, one of the things that struck me about some really beautiful words spoken here this morning was Anita Threet, who lost her brother Greg. And she said, many people have asked her, how did our family get through this? And she said, it was a community of people that stepped up and supported us. And I think that's been one of the themes of this morning, is this was a community thing, not just the families, but so many people stepped up, whether they were first responders on the scene, people at the hospital, people with hospice, just go down the list, the leadership in the city.
As was said today, Lexington is the biggest small town in America, and I think you could feel that theme of arms around this community and people being really helped by that to move ahead. I think that's one of the reasons the committee that planned this really said this was not just a memorial service for the families, but they really wanted it to be a thank you to the community of Lexington, because they couldn't have done it, as some of the speakers have said today, without that kind of support. But a lot of common themes today, themes of remembrance, love and community, peace and healing.
Matthew Snoddy, the son of Tim Snoddy, one of the 49 victims, said that this really hit home to me. This really was the cross-section of the best and the brightest on that flight. He said, who gets on a 6 a.m. flight? And he went down the list: entrepreneurs, business people, college students, a couple leaving on their honeymoon. These were go-getters. And I think also one of the most touching moments, at least to me, was the ringing of the bell each time we saw a name and heard the name announced by Jack Patty from WVLK. It was to see those faces one more time, and so many hit home.
Very, very powerful to hear that. And Debbie Hirschman, who was so instrumental in helping the community here as that investigation was going on, she talked about the improvements since 5191 and said that because of that day, aviation in America has become safer, and since that time only one crash of this magnitude has happened, and she pointed to that as a day of lessons learned too. But she also kind of reinforced those themes. I know when she left Lexington after that investigation, she said, I've never seen a community like this that is so caring and really has come up and stepped up to put their arms around the survivors of these victims. And she reinforced that again today.
She did. A couple of years ago, I interviewed Captain Sully Sullenberger, of course, the hero of the flight he brought down on the Hudson, and he said, Sam, it's hard for people to understand this, but when there is a tragedy in aviation like this one, it's how we make progress. And so there are lessons learned, extremely hard lessons learned, but in this case, hopefully, as Debbie Hirschman said, it's made flying easier. So we're looking right now live before they release the birds. 49 birds for one person. Each person who died will be released. The bird sculpture there, just a beautiful, the sculptor was from Pendleton County who did this work. A flock of birds rising from the ground, some higher, some near the ground, all of them together. And this is interesting. One family member of a victim told the Herald Leader, we all wanted it to be happy and uplifting, referring to this memorial right here that you see, not something somber that you would think of as a memorial. When we saw the birds, we thought of them as spirits going up to heaven.
I love that, and I think that's helped with this entire memorial service to have it in this beautiful setting. It's very peaceful out there. It is a place of peace and healing, and as you said, just a beautiful sculpture. Now, one person whose name is not on the list is James Polhinky, the sole survivor here, and Matthew Snoddy, the son of one of the victims, said he wanted to point that out and wanted to extend his hopes and also make sure that he was included in this kind of a service.
Yes. The birds, this really hit me. 6 sets of the birds were welded more closely together because they represent 6 couples who were traveling together. So married couple just married, newlyweds going on their honeymoon. This sculpture in the Rose Garden there is called the Garden of Remembrance, adopted by Hospice of the Bluegrass.
And the birds have been taking off there, representing each of those souls lost on Flight 5191.
So a day 10 years ago that we will never forget. And I think today was a sign of we are not perhaps moving forward, the families are not, but one person said moving with what happened as best we can and with the community. And as one of the speakers said, love never fails, even in the face of extreme disaster and tragedy. A lot of love here this morning and fellowship and community. It was a beautiful ceremony.
You certainly can feel that. And that's the theme that we want to leave with people today, too. We were so happy to be able to share this with people because so many people, even across the country, who were not able to be here, wanted to be a part of this memorial.
Thank you for joining us for this special moment here in the Bluegrass, the remembrance, the 10-year remembrance of the crash of Flight 5191. It's been our honor to be a part of this morning, as well as our crew in the field and back here at WKYT.
Good day to you.